This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87CYM. Western Washington Amateur Television Society is a group of amateur radio enthusiasts who take to the airwaves with half-scan television. We have a repeater located up on Kruger Mountain. We transmit on 70 centimeters. The crossband repeater puts out images at 1.2 gigahertz. We also have a presence on the internet with our nets that are held on Wednesdays and Saturdays. On YouTube, all you have to do is Google WW7ATS, and that will give you information to contact us and the frequencies that we use. Again, this is Dave, 87CYM, and we're on the 08 machine for our voice transmissions for our video net. Going to take a pause in case anybody has emergency traffic or needs to make a contact before our net gets fully operational. This is Dave, 87CYM, pausing. Good evening, and welcome to the Western Washington Amateur Television Society's net on the 08 machine. So far checked in by video link is Ron, 87QKU, Lee, N7KC, Kurt, N7CS, Richard, K7ITX, Wade, W7ITL, Jim, N7QO, James, WU7N, and myself, Dave, 87CYM. If anybody else would like to check into the net this evening. Doing now, we get the net rolling. Let's go to Ron, 87QKU in Tacoma.
Okay. Look and make sure I'm on the right frequency. I guess everyone can hear me okay? Okay, I'm getting the thumbs up. Alright, this is Ron, KD7QKU. Over here in Tacoma, where it's 38 degrees and raining. It's rained about a quarter of an inch this afternoon. I did go for a walk this morning about 11 o'clock. Wasn't much wind. The other day I went for a walk in the morning and there was a lot of wind and it was cold. Oh my goodness, it was cold today too. Well, I read an interesting article ever since Bird and Wade have been talking about cryptocurrency. Every time I see something, I get interested in it. Let me drop it in. So I was reading where the city of Miami, I guess it is, they're going to have their own coin. They're going to call it Miami coin, I guess. And they hope to make enough money that the citizens won't have to pay any taxes. As a matter of fact, they said they might even give them money back. And then kind of in the same article, it said that somebody in New York was going to do the same thing, and they're going to call it NY coin, if I believe right. And then it went ahead to talk about how it's just like gambling. I mean, there's nothing behind it. It's just speculation. You're speculating, I guess, that you're going to buy this and then it's going to go up in value because other people invest in it, and then sometime you can sell it and you'll make a profit. But, gee, I lost my train of thought there. But anyway, I thought it was quite interesting that two cities, one in New York and one in Florida, are going to put out their own coin and hope that people buy it, speculate in buying it. And then they talked about miners, which I guess both Bird and Wade are crypto coin miners. But it was a long article, and a lot of it I didn't quite understand, but I found it very interesting. So anyway, back to that, KD7QKU.
87QKU, Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
Right there at the last minute. It's Jessica, KF7UHK. I think, it's one of those things where it's good to get in on the ground floor when it first starts off. I don't know about starting off now after it's already been going and rolling and changing and stuff like that. You know, maybe if I started off with Bitcoin a long time ago, I might be a Bitcoin millionaire, but I'm not. So, and I didn't. And so now I'm totally fearful of getting into that. Kind of like cell phones, why I don't have a cell phone. You know, I should have got in at the beginning. So, I think Sylvia just gave me one of her last cell phone, which is a very big, nice, big cell phone that does, you know, internet and does all sorts of stuff. It's a beautiful big screen because work gave her a better one to help keep track of her. And so she gave me her old one. It's like, you gotta carry this around now. It's like, no, I don't really want to. No, I'll lose it, or I'll set it down, or I'll forget to plug it in. So that's my oldest popping out. Otherwise, I got my chain back from Ace Hardware for my steel electric 18-inch chainsaw, and it's really sharp. It is sharp right through the bag that it gave me. I could really tell. I haven't put it on the chainsaw yet, so I have stuff I wanted to take apart up at the house this weekend. So I'm really excited about that. But I'm going to pass it back now. This is Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7 UHK, Jessica, thanks for that. Let's go to Port Angeles to read N7BC and see if we got a contact.
I don't know, do you? Okay, sounds like I'm good. Alright, KC, we have here Port Angeles. I really don't have much tonight. I'm here just to get back and enjoy a good nap. So I want to say hi to Jim on Kevin from there. I don't see his picture, but the rest of you people, good evening to you. I don't know if Gary's here or not. Turns out I couldn't get my Bluetooth to pair with the phone. Well, it was kind of repaired, but then it wouldn't connect. So I had to unpair it and repair it, and then everything was fine. You don't have to do that very often, but for some reason I did tonight. I don't know why. So I guess I don't have anything to add right now. I'll send it back to you, Dave. Let's send it to you, Leah Port Angeles. Dave.
Okay, I'll try again. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You got a signal? Okay, let's go to Bert, N7CS in Marysville.
Well, good evening, everyone. Yeah, sorry I didn't hear you, Dave. I think you were doubling with somebody. But let's see what's going on here. I will have to leave the net at 8:30. I have a work meeting I'll have to get to, unfortunately. Well, I guess fortunately it pays the bills and stuff, so that's good. But anyway, a couple things. You've probably seen or heard about those videos whereby about like the Roomba vacuum cleaners, whereby there's like something kind of nasty on the floor and they kind of run over it when it's running unattended and then streak that stuff all over the place. Well, it finally happened to me with all my robot vacuum cleaners. One of my cats had a little vomit episode, I guess, earlier in the day when I didn't notice it. And in our master bedroom is where it happened. It spread the vomit in nice, like, straight lines with 90-degree angles and all kind of cool stuff. So, cleaning the carpet wasn't too bad. We just used like a big shampooer to do it. That was the easy part. The hard part was the robot vacuum itself. That vomit got everywhere in the thing. And I've like taken it apart, like every little piece of it, the wheels out, this and that, and I've been like trying to clean it out for the past 3 days. I think I finally have it clean, and now we have to see if I can actually put it back together and if it still works after all the water and stuff in it. Who knows if I messed up the circuit boards or not, probably, but I'll try to put it back together maybe tomorrow and see if it actually turns on again. But yeah, that was not fun at all. So that was my adventure this past few days. Anyway, this is Bert Marshall, N7CS, back to that.
N7CS. Thanks for that report. Let's go to Richard, K7ITX.
Okay, well, I guess you guys can hear me okay, is that right? Okay, cool. Well, that's interesting, Bert, because I've got, it's sad, if you want to know the truth. I mean, I have a cat, and I know all about the hair walls, and we finally came up with a plan to help decrease the episode, so to speak, and that's we put that into effect a couple of weeks ago, and we've been very, very successful. Mika, it just seems like she's feeling a lot better, so we're pretty happy about that. But taking the robotic vacuum cleaner apart and putting it back together. Well, let me show you what I've just found that I'm going to take apart, because I wanted to demonstrate it tonight, but it wouldn't work, and so I opened it up, and all the batteries, well, the batteries have probably been inside the machine for decades, so I shouldn't have been so surprised that it was a big mess. But I really want to take it apart, because I think I have a shot at, well, let me show you what I'm talking about. Stand by, let me get it out, and I'll just show you.
In the meantime, we'll get an ID out. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine. I'm Dave, 87CYM.
Connected N7KC. I was trying to get on streaming. So anyway, this is Alfie. But I went the wrong way, didn't I? Okay, so let's get Alfie. So actually, this reminds me of some of the demonstrations we've been getting from Wade lately with some of his old toys and things. And Alfie goes back to the days of Mario Brothers, probably maybe even earlier. But Alfie's a computer, for crying out loud, for little kids. So anyway, brings back old memories. He could probably fetch a little bit of coinage on eBay, but I think he's going to be fun to see if I can resurrect him and get his artificial intelligence back in order. So anyway, I thought that'd be kind of fun to show that guy off, and it just made me think of what Bert's got a much more difficult task. All I have to do is clean the battery contacts. One of them seemed like it might have broke off, though, so I might have a little bit of soldering to do. With that, KB7ZAM, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, that's Richard. Let's go to Tacoma to Wade, W7ITL.
W7ITL here, and then there I am. Yeah, the video hasn't been very good tonight on the 1.2, at least at my house. I don't know if I have wet contacts or if maybe just the wind's blowing really hard up on the mountain tonight. But it's really ghosty and grainy on my display. But let's talk. Ron, it sounds like you got a chance to do a walk. That's good. But it sounds like maybe it was not this week, but maybe last week, or the last time you went and walked in, it was pretty cold and windy. And the Miami, city of Miami getting their own crypto. I hear everybody's getting their own crypto right now. I watched a video the other day, and it was a how-to on how to make your own crypto. I didn't watch the whole thing through, but apparently it's not too hard to make your own crypto. With that said, let's move on. Let's see. All right. Well, sorry, Bert, to hear about the vomit incident with the Roomba. And the challenges of cleaning it out. Wish you luck on that. If it gets too bad, it might be just time to buy another one. Unfortunate. And then, let's see, that's probably it for this round for me. This is W7ITL. Back to net.
W7ATS, thank you. Let's go to Jim, N7QO.
N7QO. Thank you, Dave. Well, good evening, everyone. I see Dave, Dick, Ron, Bert, Wade, Jim, Jessica, and Lee. It's good to see you all. Wow, let's see. Ron, yeah, cold and windy. That's the way it's been here today as well. I had to go run some errands today, and it was more bitter today than any other time this winter so far. I've got 41 degrees here at the house just south of Covington, and I'm not sure I'd call it light rain, but it's more than drizzle. Yeah, we'll call it light rain here at the house right now. Crypto coin, man, I don't know. I wish luck to everyone who tries something like that. I understand a little about this blockchain stuff, but to me it's almost like a pyramid scheme or something. Apparently I don't quite understand as much about it as I ought to. I'm not sure if it's quite as good as Amway, but maybe more like a pyramid scheme. I don't know. Anyway, I'll keep my money in the bank. Okay. Let's see. Reset. Yeah, Jessica, be careful with that new saw blade. I usually hurt myself whenever I sharpen my knives for some reason. I don't know. Maybe I'm not coordinated, but watch. Bert there has an owie. Okay. Yeah, Bert. Kudos to you for tearing that vacuum apart and cleaning it all up. Holy cow. I had one of the, not really first generation, but almost first generation Roombas, and it really did not work all that well. So when it broke after a few years, I was actually not at all reluctant to throw it in the trash heap, and we have since purchased another one. It's called a Bob. It works a whole lot better. Yeah, there are all sorts of things available from China that you can buy on the internet, and for some reason the Chinese call this robotic vacuum cleaner Bob. So anyway, it works better than the Roomba did, but I'll keep it going until it breaks. But I don't know about cleaning the cat vomit out of it. Kudos to you, Bert. Reset. And Dick, I don't know what to say about Alfie, but insofar as Mika feeling better, I don't know. I think a lot of cats probably feel better after a good puke. It just seems to me that it goes with being a cat. So you just gotta watch out every now and then. And if the robot gets going when you're not looking well, sorry, Bert. Back to you, Dave. N7QO.
N7QO, let's go to James, WW7ATS.
Good evening, all. How's my audio? Let's check that first. Okay, the complexities of VHF and microwave. Right now I've got the 1.2 antenna up against the glass window with a big screen across it. I'm getting a really good picture tonight off the hill. And it's coming and going a little, which I would expect, because we really have a pretty strong southerly wind out here right now in Bellevue. And so I can't decide when a repeater has good hearing and when it has bad hearing. It's kind of like hearing aid batteries, I think. They kind of come and go. Well, anyway, on the subject of crypto coin, all I can say is if anybody wants to get involved in crypto coin should just bypass all the difficulty steps and just send their money directly to me, and that would accomplish, at least from my perspective, the same task and goal. But I have a feeling, Bert and Wade will be laughing at us in a few years. An 18-inch chainsaw. Jessica, okay, this is what jumps into my mind. I once saw a cartoon once that said, why you never give somebody our age a labeler for Christmas. And the next picture showed everything in the house labeled. And then there's a little asterisk on it that said, never give a chainsaw. If you don't understand why, look at the picture above. So, anyway, Bert, you're the first person I personally know of that has ever had a robot disaster of the type. Now, this is, to me, the true breakthrough with true AI is when the robot is going to have some kind of sensor in it that's going to know that there's something not right here, that this is milkshake or cat barf or whatever, and I should stop and send a text message to you saying, come help me until further notice. And you should send, I think, really from U.S. Robotics, I believe. I'm not sure. It's that outfit in the Northeast. You should send them that suggestion. I can't believe that, they're not working on that. But to me, that would be a major breakthrough, so to speak. Let's see. The Alfie robot there, that looked exactly like the alarm panel I was dealing with a week ago. Pretty much the same. And just as self-explanatory. I mean, if you can't figure that out, we're all technical people. You should have to explain that. But I did finally break the code on the alarm, and I have gone in and out of there several times without waking up the entire neighborhood, so I'm pretty proud of myself on that. Let's see, the thing about feeling better after a major gastric event, I remember several times in my youth where I felt that way. I probably shouldn't get into details on the air on that. Let's see. Wade, I cannot believe you would have wet contacts. I can only believe that any contacts you would have would be just fascinating and interesting. I just can't believe there's any other kind that you would have. But anyway, I wish you the best of luck in sorting that out. So with that, this is James WW7N in Northeast Bellevue, very windy Northeast Bellevue tonight. Let's turn it back to our net control for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society. Take it away.
WW7N. Thanks for that. Well, I'm thinking about Bert's problem of cleaning out that robo-vacuum. It reminded me of in the mid-'80s at the television station I worked at, they had client viewing suites. They had 5 of them so people could come in and watch commercials. Most of the commercials were then put on cassettes on 3/4-inch tape units. So the client could come in to the studio and see commercials. Well, we had a producer that got the axe, and he managed to go around to not one, but all 5 viewing rooms and relieve himself on the heads of the playback units, those recorders. And, oh man, the engineering department to clean that up really had some interesting vocabulary words that I learned. I thought I'd heard them all. But anyway, things do happen that way. And let's see, here in Lake City it's 40 degrees. There's showers outside. And let's see, if you want to do an investment, we've got dues coming up for the watts coming up, and that's better to, and you can send that money direct to James. However, that's not a personal check to James. That'll be a personal check for Watt for your dues. And that will be an investment that will all reap benefits from. So with that, this is the 87GYM. Let's go to 87GKU.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Dave, and good evening again, everyone. 87GKU. Well, Jessica, talking about your chainsaw and a new blade. So when the neighbors moved in across the street, they were out trying to saw a limb off a tree, and the chainsaw was just smoking. And so I got off my chainsaw and I walked over there and I said, I think you have a dull blade, and maybe I can help you out. Oh no, they said, brand new blade. Well, and put it on backwards. So be careful you don't get it on backwards. So anyway, and Lee, I gave you a phone call the other day, and you're just going to go do a net. But that's fine, no problem. So here's what had happened. The other night when I was, Saturday night I think it was, I was at this party, birthday party, and I was going to demonstrate to my brother-in-law how Echolink, works in Zoom. And so I could get the Zoom to work on my phone. Maybe you guys saw me in a little bit on Zoom. And then I tried to get Echolink, and then, of course, I had WW7ATS or whatever it was, MI, and he's deceased, and that's not the right link to the Echolink anymore. It's, K7QJ. Well, I figured that out later, and then I talked to James over here, and I and James tried it out. Well, not too long after that, in the evening there, my brother-in-law showed up again, and I was going to show him how it would really work this time. I was going to have Lee, I turned on the 08 machine, and I was going to have Lee look up the Echolink and show him how he could talk from Port Angeles, but Lee happened to be busy, and that didn't work out, but he believes me anyway. So let's see, oh man, let me let it drop. And the cat and the robotic vacuum cleaner, oh my goodness sake. I understand now that they do have a robotic vacuum cleaner that can find, that stops at dog poop. So I don't know which one it is. But I think if you don't have, you should have a wet-dry one. Get a wet-dry robot vacuum cleaner. So if something like that happens again, maybe it would contain it. I don't know. But that's, oh man, what a mess. So anyway, I felt for you. All right, that's it. Back to that. KD7QKU.
KD7QKU, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica. KF7, UHK.
I have a vacuum cleaner story. So he needs to take a picture of a cigarette. Oh, it's like burning down, hot and burning. And we had some cigarettes here, but neither one of us smoked. And they must have been really old cigarettes because they're sitting in the kitchen window for a long time, just in a little jar, open jar. So I made a little jig for the cigarette so she could take a picture of it and add it into this other thing that was supposed to be a copy of a anti-smoking cigarette, or non-smoking cigarette commercial. And she was supposed to recreate this commercial by taking pictures and putting them together with Photoshop. Well, we hooked up the vacuum cleaner through this little jig I made and started up the vacuum and lit the thing, and it made our vacuum cleaner just stink for a long time. I had to take it all apart and make it not smell like a 12-pack-a-day smoker, because it was just nasty. And it gets all in the plastic and the filters, and had to pull them all out and washed them and rinsed them and rinsed them and washed them, and it took out the hose and washed that off. So yeah, that's something you don't want to do. Something you don't want to do if you're not a smoker and you don't like to smoke. It was just so rank. Otherwise, I had a friend who I met through I used to run a bulletin board system down in Kent called Joe's Meat Market, and this person came over to my house because he wanted to set up a bulletin board. And he said, do you mind if I give you a presentation just for a couple hours? Well, that's donuts. It'll be fun. Do you mind me coming over and trying out my presentation? I said, sure, no problem. Come on over and make it a Saturday or something like that. He brought over his easel and then pulled out Amway. And it was a hard sell Amway. And, oh my goodness. So I know about Amway. I'm going to pass it back. KS7UHK.
Oh, let's see, what do they say? There's one form every minute? Oh, well. Such is life. Thanks for that, Jessica. Let's go to Lee N7CC in Port Angeles. Okay, I think things are in order here. Not too very long as dancing around. Anyway, yeah, we have Port Angeles. N7CC. Well, the vacuum cleaner story, oh my goodness. I've admired those
I think it used to be the Sharpie Image store there in Northgate. Used to have some of those things running around there. It was like, they had one floppy price tag on them, and I could only get past that. But I thought what I was trying to do here, I had let me see if I can share a screen. Oops, it's gone. Okay, I'm not going to I don't know where it went, but I had something stayed on the taskbar that's not there now. So maybe the next time I can get that up. Anyway, well, I've got my protection series Davis weather system. It sits on it's an indoor thing, and it's got a very nice biometric touch on it. And I have the WW7 software to it. I've had it for years. I finally put it in operation recently. And archiving data and, the program, the WW7 software makes really beautiful graphs. I was just going to show that off. I had it all set up to go, and now it's not on the dashboard. So there you go. So I don't have anything else. Pretty good stories tonight, which I'm enjoying. So I'll send it back to you, Dave, and see if we do more to come. In 17 airport engine. Very good. I'm sorry, Ron. I'm really sorry about that. It just slipped my mind. Yes, it's checked out. Hopefully we'll come back for our meeting later on. Let's go to Richard, K7, ITS. Golly, I've actually been leading kind of just a boring work life. Let me think about that for a second. Believe it or not, I put in 32 man-hours last week. That's the most I've worked for a company in probably over 5 years. I'm looking forward to the paycheck this Friday, though. I guarantee you that. But I was pretty well exhausted, kind of behind the 8 ball come Monday. Didn't do a darn thing. Tuesday, I think I put in about an hour. and today I put in 4. So I'm way far away from ever putting in 32 hours ever again in the rest of my life. That was crazy. But I was successful. That's what it's all about. Just trying to keep the jobs moving along. There's always some kind of glitch that needs to get ironed out, and so that's what I was there for, and it seemed to work out. Just staying in contact with my brother and talking to him about K7ITY, our mom. We're trying to figure out how much longer he'll be able to take care of her at his house. And right now we're kind of in a, believe it or not, 1 to 3 years. I mean, that's quite a range. I mean, 1 year is not that far away. 3 years, you can kick back for a little bit. So the timing is just insane on these things. It really is. So I talked to my brother about that on Monday. That's what kept me busy on Monday. In fact, today, I'm trying to think. I had to mail some stuff for ITY. That's right. And that's what I did on Monday. I went to the post office in person. This is not the week you want to go to the post office in person and try to go to the front counter. The line was incredible. But I don't know, it only took me a half an hour to, get through it. But I think what's more entertaining is to see the expression on people's face when they first come through the door. I guess you can't see, what's going on when you're outside, but when you come through the door and their eyes would just almost pop out of their heads when they look at the line. And, there's always a lot of helpful people in line that, give them encouragement or advice. I kind of keep to myself, and I just enjoy the chitter chatter and like I say, the expressions on people's face. They should know. Well, I was expecting it. I knew this was the busiest week to go to the post office, and I had no choice. When it comes to business, for your mother, I'm telling you, you don't dawdle around, you take care of it. So that's what I did. All right, KV7ZRM, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, for a quick ID in here again. This is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society net on the 08 machine on gauge. 87EYM. So let's go to Wade, W7ITL in Tacoma.
This is W7ITL. I think I missed Ron's last transmission, so I don't have any notes for him. But Jessica, I think you talked about your VBS before, and I think I mentioned that I also ran a VBS when I was younger. I don't know if I would like somebody coming over after saying that they wanted to learn how to do VBS or wanted help on their VBS to try to sell me Amway. I probably would never call that person back or answer their call again. So to answer your Jim, it's not like Amway crypto. It's more like the stock market. You just you wait for when it's high and you sell and buy when it's low. And just hope that if you're mining, that your crypto goes up in value. If you hold on to it long enough and then you sell it when it gets real high. I haven't had a chance to do that because I don't have that much yet. So let's see. Richard, looks like I wrote your notes on the wrong line. But yeah, it sounds like you got to put in a full week of work, and you got to see everybody's expressions at the post office when they realized how much of a line there was once they walked through the door. So yeah, I've avoided the post office so far since the holidays have started. I've relented to just going to the post box and just putting my mail in there. I haven't had anything yet, but I've had to put in a box and get metered. So no packages. Hope that I have to do that this year. I don't like going to the post office for that part. Let's see. I'm going to break for a second. Let me get back to Richard's comment about Alfie. Yeah, you know what? Alfie looks real familiar from what a robot I might have had when I was younger. That maybe when I was under 10. So maybe that's what I had. I don't remember exactly if that was Alfie or not, but when I was a kid I used to like to take things apart. So I think Alfie is the one that I took apart and put back together a few times. He's pretty simple. He's just kind of like you said, he's got his battery pack and probably some light. So that's it for this round. Video's still looking pretty crummy on my end. I don't know where, maybe my antenna blew too far over and now it's just not lined up anymore or something. But with that said, I'll just return the net and I'll see you guys on the next round. W7ITL back to net.
W7ITL, wait, thanks for that. Let's go to Jim, M720.
M7QO, thank you, Dave. Well, Wade, thank you for putting up on the display here the repeater output. That's useful for me. It sounds like you used to get a better picture than that. What you're showing is almost the best picture that I have ever been able to receive from my location. But I'm looking through a whole bunch of trees and over the past couple of decades here, the trees have grown up even more so. So real sure what I'm going to do, but I need to make some changes here. Let's see. Talking about the post office. Dick, I happened to go to the post office today, and it was pretty crowded. My wife decided that we needed a couple of international stamps for some holiday cards, and I felt uncomfortable. There were a whole lot of people there. Everyone was wearing a mask, but everyone was also standing close together. It was cold and windy outside, and maybe just a little bit wet, and I guess no one wanted to run the line outside the building, so everyone just scrunched together. Hope I don't catch anything, but we'll see. I think that's all I've got for now. KD7ZYM and 7QO.
And 7QO, thanks for that, Jim. Let's go to James, WU7N in Bellevue.
Well, thank you, Dave. I was going to tell Robert about 1 cup of Clorox and 1 gallon of water, and then maybe that would help, but I guess I'll have to email that handy tip to him. Richard, I do know of a commercial product now that's being sold to clean the corrosion out of, like off metal contacts and such. Don't know what's in it, but it looks scary good. Way better than, the usual home remedies. So I'll try and find that product and send you a link. Ron, that is a funny story. Chainsaw on backwards. That's better than running the record backwards, I think. I didn't even know how you would do that, how you could get that, how that could work. You would think it wouldn't go on that way. Well, anyway, Ron, you are now in the club known as Death by Demo. Whenever you try and demonstrate something technological, it will always fail, and the odds of its failure go up exponentially with the number of important people watching it. I've never figured this out, but there's actually a book written with that title, Death by Demo. And so one of the themes of the book is when you're trying to demonstrate software or Roomba robot or whatever to someone who you're trying to sell it to them, you never want to demo it because there will always be one tiny thing that it does not do. And their brain, the way our human brains work, it could do 9 out of 10 things perfectly and save them millions of dollars a year, but their brain will focus on the one thing that it doesn't do in that demo, because that's just the way our brains tend to work. It's apparently some kind of survival mechanism, who knows. Anyway, handy tip there. And Jessica, I don't even ask what the bulletin board named meat market did. We won't go there. But anybody that comes to my house to sell me Amway on a pretext of doing something else, I would interrupt them and show them the door, because I'm that kind of a person. You want to come to sell Amway? You tell me, and maybe I'll listen. But I'm not going to do it, but maybe I'll at least listen. But no, don't come and say you're going to do a bulletin board and then do Amway. Not acceptable. Anyway, holidays reminded everybody, stay in touch with relatives. I'll tell you my post office story, how it developed. I got a Christmas card from a relative that is the nicest, coolest, fanciest Christmas card I think I've ever received. I don't even want to think about how much this card was. But I said, okay, what can I do with this card to spread this around? So what I did is I recycled the Christmas card. So I started with, it said like Dear Jim, and I crossed the Jim out, and then took another pen and said Guido, and crossed that out, and then Frank, and crossed that out, Bob, crossed that. I did that like 5 or 6 times on the card, and then I carefully used an X-Acto knife to remove the other writing inside the card, and then on the back of the card I filled it in with a white piece of paper, so it obviously looked like it had been cut out, right? Then I wrote a cute little message on there and sent it to my brother. But I had the same problem as the person that sent it to me. He just put a couple extra stamps on it because it was a very heavy card because it was so nice. But I thought I'd be clever and go to the post office and just get the exact postage. Oh yeah, that idea lasted about 5 seconds. I drove past the post office, there were cars spilling out into the street causing a traffic jam, and you could see people inside the post office all piled up on each other. So I too just put a couple extra stamps on it and dropped it in the box, and maybe it'll get there, and maybe it won't, but it was a good effort. anyway, video signal report. This is also, for me, one of the nicest signals I have ever gotten off the mountain. It's a solid 5 tonight. Occasionally, it's gotten a little, I'm assuming, wind interference from the wind blowing around, but it's a good picture. So right now, boom, just happened. We went all the way to 0 and then came back again. So anyway, good picture. Here is what I'm seeing on 1.2 gigahertz. So wait, I'm just probably let you know, I don't know what's going on at your end. So this is James, WW7ATS in Northeast Bellevue. Looks like we've got 15 minutes to the top of the hour. So we turn back to Dave, our net controller for the Western Washington Amateur Television Society.
WW7M, thanks for that. This is Dave, KD7GYM in Lake City. And so Jessica, I guess if you're going to do something with smoking and you've never smoked before, don't inhale. So you've got to teach the vacuum not to inhale, just exhale only. And then coming over for contacts for Richard, the battery, best thing to do is use vinegar and a Q-tip. The acetic acid and vinegar will clean up the corrosion around the battery corroded areas and clean up that area pretty nicely. Anyway, I've had pretty good luck with that over the years with taking care of batteries in the middle of the night, so to speak. And that's about all I've got to add. This is Dave, KD7GYM in Lake City. So let's go back up to Ron and start it over again. 87QKU.
Okay, this is Ron, KD7QKU. Well, I didn't take many notes last time. I'm kind of interested in one of those robotic vacuum cleaners, because this house that we have now doesn't have carpet. If one of them would probably work pretty good for us, I don't know. The floors get dusty, I know, real quick, that's for sure. But that post office experience kind of reminds me of the grocery store experience I had the other day. So Joanne was in the middle of making something for Christmas, cookies or something, I don't know, she was baking. So she wanted to know if I'd run down to the grocery store and get something. I go down to the grocery store and I have, one or two little items in my hand. And I get, in behind ladies that have $500 carts full of food. There just wasn't any place else to go. I think every check stand was full. And I waited, right? But just as I'm getting up there and I put my things, my two little items I think I had on the deal, my phone tells me I have a text message. So I look at it. And Joanne said, "Oh, could you get me some powdered sugar also?" And I look at the guy behind me. And I said, "Would you believe that my wife just texted me and asked me to go get something else?" And he couldn't help but laugh. He thought it was funny too. So anyway, he said, he'd taken my spot, of course. He said, "Thanks." So I had to go get a bag of powdered sugar and get in the back of the line someplace else. So anyway, that's kind of like the post office butcher. All right, back to that KD7QKU.
87QKU, Ron, thanks for that. Let's go to Jessica, KF7UHK.
KF7UHK, back when they put in the robotic checkers at our local Fred Meyer's, they eliminated a lot of human beings at the checkout. So I think there's 3 of them with people out of 12 lanes, and so everybody pretty much mostly goes to the self-checkout. That's what I do. And we have 2 sections of them, so let's see which one's emptiest and go stand there, but sometimes that's still a lineup. A quick story about your Alfie. I had the house we had down in Tequila. If it rained real hard, it'd get muddy and wet in the backyard, and apparently somebody had buried some stuff back there, because we found this little, it's like a Fisher-Price CD player, and it didn't hold CDs. It held little plastic discs that had grooves on it. That would push little buttons. If you close it down, it would push little buttons inside the thing. It would play one of 5 different songs. It was a complete mud cake. I was digging, found it, washed it out, cleaned it out, washed it, cleaned it, and probably weeks later, we were in bed, and it was finally started drying out. And when it started finally drying out, it started making these little beeping noises as it was trying to play these songs, because it was still alive and still had some kind of power supply in it. And eventually we got it to work, and then we lost it. But probably when we got rid of the house. But it was really fascinating that this thing worked after all that time, even in mud. Just a lot of cleaning. So there you go. I want to see Alfie work someday. That's it for me. KF7, UHK.
KF7, UHK. Let's do the Port Angeles again for Lee N7KC for the snow report.
Okay, well, thank you. Not here yet. There's a guy that lives at 1,500 feet here, and he's a North Mountain Bob, we call him, and he's been getting the snow regularly. But he's the only one that's getting it. We haven't had anything yet. So I guess there is a little bit coming, I guess. Yeah, Ron, we've gotten in the habit of using the self-checkout. Either RFS at Home Depot, or if it's Safeway, or wherever. It's really, really easy, and it works really well. I wanted to just quickly, I know we don't have a lot of time left, but let me just quickly see if I can share this. There it is. I got it to come up. Well, the bottom trace here, this is my barometer over the last week and so forth, and over here you can see what it's been doing. Anyway, it's really fun to have a recording barometer like this right at your place. So this has been calibrated very, very carefully, so it's mean sea level pressure. But anyway, we've had a big stretch here. We had 3 days where it was under 29.6 and so forth, and that's just a lot of fun. Okay, enough of that, and back to you, Dave. I want to hear more stuff on the net. N7KC, back to you, Dave.
N7KC, let's see, Mr. Robot, Richard, K7ITX.
No more robot, but believe it or not, I too have some Amway stories. 3 Amway stories. I mean, and you're right. It's just like what happened to you, Jessica, when you were running the meat market and that guy came down. These people will hit you up under false pretense. I'm not kidding. I mean, I don't know if they teach that at the seminars, but would you believe the guy who took my urine specimen just called me out of the blue one time? But that isn't why he called me. He called me because again, false pretense, I'm a nice guy, and I'd like to get to know me better, and my wife come over, and I said, yeah, come on over, blah, 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 we'll have, coffee and that sort of thing, and sure enough, they laid it on really thick. It starts out with the holiday that they were able to enjoy in Mexico or Hawaii or something. It's an award they had gotten for being such great sellers of Amway product. And so there wasn't very much about the product. It was more about all the neat things that you could do or get out of it. So, and then, but, okay, that wasn't for me, obviously. But would you believe then it reared their head again about 10 years later, when actually maybe even 15 years later, when I was a general manager at a company. And one of my early employees, after work or during lunch, got me off to the side, and he started talking to me how I could save, get this, I could save 2 cents for every dryer sheet that I've been using. I just couldn't believe it. I thought,
well, how many dryer sheets would I have to use? I mean, it's just insane. So that's number two. And sadly, it was just maybe a year or two later, and it was sad because he was a really, really good friend that I grew up with. And he had just lost, him and his wife worked for the same, well, they both worked for, Rico copiers, Pitney Bowes, the that operation. But Pitney Bowes was, they were going downhill pretty quick, and they did. And so a lot of really good, well-paid people lost their jobs. Well, this couple sadly saw Amway as their way out of trouble, and I don't know, I thought we were out to dinner before a Seahawks game, and he laid it on pretty thick. And I just told him, this sounds really good for you, but, I think if I were to spend the kind of time necessary you're referring to be successful with Amway, I think I can make a heck of a lot more money in doing what I do now and then just enhance my current industry in construction. I have really big plans to make what I'm doing very lucrative, and I just don't think Amway is going to be able to compete. So, but anyway, that's my 3 Amway incidents, and they're always under false pretense. No one ever tells you that, oh hey, can I come and talk to you about Amway? And if anyone out there's listening that really likes Amway, more power to you. Now, there's always Shackley, K7ZIM, K7ITX, back to net control.
K7ITX, let's get a race, W7ITL.
Alright, W7ITL. All of the Amway and all this crypto talk tonight. I'd have to say that I think maybe that is taught in the Amway school or the training seminars they do, because it seems like that is the common thread. It's always under false pretense. By the way, let's talk about Amway and how much it can save you. I have a few family members that I can recall from the past that got into that, and I've never really liked it. I always thought it was a scam. I'm sorry if I offended anybody else listening, but that's just my opinion. Let's see. That's my demo, James. I don't. I've heard of that, but I guess that's true. And maybe the people focus on all the negativity, all the things that are going wrong, so you can never do anything right on a demo. I actually like demos sometimes, but I don't have much more to say tonight, and did enjoy listening to everybody's stories, and we'll talk again next week. W7IT, or on this Saturday, W7ITL, back to net.
W7ITL, what's Big Jim N7QO?
N7QO. Well, interesting that everyone has an Amway story. I have to agree. They must teach that in their classes or something. Because once again, I've attended a couple meetings, and it was totally unexpected. I went there under false pretenses. I don't remember exactly what they were, but I get there and it's like, what the heck is this? Oh, it's Amway. Well, I don't know. I do know someone who alleges to have done quite well in it. The fellow was a dentist. He wasn't trying to get me to sign up while he was drilling on my tooth, but he was kind of trying while we were sitting there for a little bit. But he said his wife was making enough money doing that to basically negate her job
So that was kind of impressive, but I don't like this false pretenses stuff. So I threw in the towel on that like before getting involved. Anyway, looks like we're about out of time. Good night all. Back to you, Dave, M7QO.
Hey, 7QO, Jim, thanks for that. Yeah, at the time that this happened, this is the Western Washington Amateur Television Society Net on the 08 machine. I'd like to thank the owners and operators of the 08 machine, the CTAC Repeater Group, for allowing us to utilize it for our voice transmissions for our video nets held on Wednesdays and Saturdays between 8 and 9. So on behalf of the Western Washington Amateur Television Society, this is Dave, 87 CYM, signing off at 9 o'clock. Good evening all.